The hallway camera caught more than I bargained for. I never thought I'd be that guy, the one with the story everyone whispers about. You know, the kind of heartbreak you hear in barbershops or read about in online forums. Always thinking that'll never be me. It's like watching a tiger in a zoo. You know it's dangerous, but behind the glass it can't hurt you. At least that's what I used to think. Until the tiger got out. My wife, Dana, and I had been together for over 20 years. She wasn't a respected seasoned teacher back when we met. Just a bright, blue-eyed girl with sun-kissed skin who lit up the campus ballroom like she'd stepped off a Mediterranean cruise. I was drawn to her instantly. And while she had no shortage of admirers, somehow, she picked me. When I proposed, she said yes with a kind of kiss that makes the whole world tilt. I remember thinking I was the luckiest man alive. Marriage, of course, came with its storms. Fights, bills, miscommunications, sleepless nights with a crying baby. But we weathered all of it hand in hand. Our son, Mason, came along a year after the wedding. Now he's in his early 20s, with one eye on the future and talk of starting a family of his own. We lived in a modest house in the suburbs. Dana taught at one of the top schools in the city, and I worked as a steel foreman at the mill. It wasn't glamorous, but we made it work. Dana even picked up tutoring students at home in the evenings to help pay for the new Mitsubishi I'd finally bought on credit. My first car. I babied that thing like it was a Ferrari, polishing it every weekend like it was a religious ritual. Her students were usually seniors prepping for university. Older teens, she said, were more focused, less chaotic. I'd gotten used to seeing them come and go. There were the fashionable girls, the angsty boys, the ones who looked like they were in rock bands. Nothing ever raised alarm bells. Until one day the doorbell rang and I opened it to find a man, not a boy, standing there. He looked like he was in his early 30s. Clean-cut, confident, dark. "Hi, is Dana home? I'm here for tutoring," he said. And blinked. "You sure you're in the right place?" "I get it," he chuckled. "Not every day you see someone my age brushing up on high school material. But yes, this is the right place." Before I could reply, Dana called out from behind me, her voice warm and familiar. Too familiar. "Come in, Caleb," she said, smiling. "Don't be shy." He walked in and I stood there like a statue. She was dressed differently. A tight skirt, a blouse with a neckline that practically advertised itself. I noticed how his eyes lingered just a bit too long on her. I noticed everything. But I said nothing. Instead, I walked away, muttering something about a soccer match, and shut myself in the living room. The muffled sound of German phrases and laughter trickled through the walls. I tried to brush it off. I had bigger things to worry about. Deadlines, quotas, broken machines. But still, something about him gnawed at me. He started coming by regularly. Always polite. Sometimes bringing a slice of cake or a bouquet of lilies. I kept telling myself it didn't matter. Dana said it was just business. Besides, I trusted her. That trust cracked on a random afternoon at work. I was in the smoking area, sipping burnt coffee and ignoring the usual dirty jokes, when someone mentioned how their buddy's car got vandalized. Acid across the hood. Obscenities scratched into the paint with a nail. Repair costs upwards of 20 grand. My heart stuttered. I imagined my Mitsubishi, my pride and joy, scarred beyond recognition. That night, I visited my old friend Eric, a tech nerd who always had the latest gadgets. Told him I was worried about car thefts in the neighborhood. Eric raised an eyebrow. "You want a camera? What, trying to catch your wife cheating?" He laughed, but I didn't. "I'm serious," I said. "I just want to keep an eye on the driveway." He dug into his desk and pulled out a small black box. "This one's solid. Native. Practically invisible once it's up. You just need to sync it at home first." Mason helped me install it that weekend. We placed it in the hallway temporarily, planning to move it later to face the driveway. It blended in with the decor. I forgot about it within days. Weeks passed. Then one Saturday evening, Mason and his wife dropped by. We were lounging in the living room when Mason asked, "Hey, did you ever check the hallway footage?" Shrugged. "Not really." "Why?" Let's fire it up. We plugged it into the TV. Most of it was boring. Me leaving for work, Dana coming home, ordinary stuff. But then, the footage flickered, sped up, and there she was. Dana stepped in through the front door, followed immediately by Caleb. They were alone. The hallway was quiet. He wrapped his arms around her, kissed her neck. And then, an hour later, he walked out of the bedroom naked, heading straight for the bathroom like he owned the place. Dana followed moments later, her robe barely tied. My chest caved in. Mason stood frozen. His wife looked anywhere but at me. A minute later, they silently gathered their things and left without a word. I sat there trembling. My wife, my partner of 2 decades, emerged from the bathroom wiping her face with a towel, only to stop dead in her tracks when she saw the paused footage on the TV. "Explain this," I said, voice low and shaking. She crumbled, fell to her knees right there in the hallway, sobbing into her hands. We started after his second lesson," she whispered. "I never meant for it to go that far. Swear, I just felt seen. Alive again." I stood over her, sick with rage. "Alive? You felt alive while tearing this family apart. While letting him walk around here like a king in my house." "I couldn't help it," she cried. "I know it sounds weak, but it was like I was possessed. I couldn't sleep when he didn't message. I couldn't breathe when he didn't show up. It wasn't love, it was like a spell." I turned away. I couldn't even look at her. "I gave you my best years," I said, my voice hollow. "I built this life for us, for Mason, for our future. And you burned it to the ground over some fantasy." She reached out, grabbing my wrist. "Please, Trevor. We can fix this. Let's try again. Let's forget it ever happened." But I had nothing left to give. "No," I said coldly. "Go to him. Stay with him. And while you're there, think hard about who you threw away." I packed a bag and left that night. Because sometimes, the truth you find hidden in a hallway camera is more than just betrayal. It's the final nail in a coffin you didn't know was already sealed shut. Thanks for listening.